Hey everyone, I wanted to do a follow-up to my introduction to cams video by actually going out and placing some cams in the rock and showing you guys some examples of good and bad cam placements. I just have a small cam in there, pretty deep. Looks like it's fairly constricted. The lobes are nice and tight there. But there is something wrong with this placement. So, can you guess what it is? So the problem here is that this flake on the right side of the cam is actually pretty thin and it could possibly break or pry loose, so that's not the best cam placement. So for this placement I put a link cam in a horizontal crack. See anything that could go wrong here? So for one thing, there is this gap just to the right here, so the cam could potentially walk its way over there. But the other danger that I see is that this is a stiff stem here and it could potentially break if you took a hard fall. So you don't want to be putting link cams in horizontal cracks. So here's just another example of a loose flake. This is actually a pretty big chunk here, but you'll see when I pull on this. Let's see what's wrong with this cam placement. Several things that I can see. For one thing, it's not in the direction of pull, so it should be angled down farther. For another thing, this crack is pretty dirty, so it may just be resting on some mud and not actual rock. And finally, the lobes of the cam are too far open. You'd want them a little more constricted than that. So it's certainly possible that this cam could come out of the rock. So I finally found a crack that I feel pretty good about. It's parallel. It's a little dirty, but I cleaned out a spot for the cam. I have it set in there in the direction of pull. I'll still want to attach a sling to this so it doesn't wiggle around too much, but it looks pretty secure. It's in there nice and deep. So this is an example of a pretty decent cam placement. So I hope you enjoyed my video about cam placements. If you haven't checked out my intro to cams video already, I'd recommend looking at that as well. But just keep in mind that learning these things from a video isn't necessarily going to give you the experience you need to actually go out and make safe placements yourself. So I'd recommend following an experienced climber and learning from them and their placements before you go out and try this sort of thing just on your own. But thanks for watching. I hope you learned something and be safe.